Evening, everyone. It's 6:50, and this is your closing comment for Tuesday evening, March the 30th. And don't forget, Friday is no day, and Monday is no day in the UK and Europe. So this is coming into essentially what looks to us like a 4-day weekend. So I'm always wary of a 3-day weekend, let alone a 4. So the roller coaster ride continues. And what I mean by that is yesterday, the closing comment, I thought it was very interesting that the Dow was up with internals 2-to-1 down. And today the Dow was down with internals 1.8-to-1 up. The NASDAQ also rallied well off its low and closed down only 14.26 or 0.1%. And over there, it was 1.5-to-1 up and volume was down. So it's kind of interesting that we have lower volume on down days and better internals on down days than on up days. Also, in the same vein, the Dow Jones Industrial Average today showed 20 stocks down and 10 stocks up. Whereas yesterday, when it was up, it showed 19 stocks down and only 11 up. So, this is a very strange market, and it is really ruled by some really intense rotation here from group to group. In those 30 Dow stocks, the biggest gainer in Dow points was Goldman Sachs, adding 43 Dow points to the averages, and Amgen and UNH tied for the worst performers, both shedding 35 Dow points. So it's kind of interesting. We had a bunch of the Fang stocks acting a little bit better, but primarily what we had was Tesla, 635.62, up 24.33 or 4%, and BIDU, which we bought on the Thursday down day at 206 and change, which then went to 174 and closed up on the day. Today was 218.23, up 13.53 or 6.6%. Now, granted, it's a small position, but the percent is the same whether you own 1 share or 1,000 shares. So that position today was up 6.6%. Also, somewhat in the news, but also pointed out to me by one of my good friends and subscribers, Broadcom, AVGO, was down 16 today to 456.16. And there really wasn't much in the way of news around on it, except that there was a statement on MarketWire, which is part of my E-Trade platform, that Amazon was talking about making its own chips. Amazon was 30.55 and a quarter, down about 20.5. But Avago is not really just a chip maker. Avago owns Sensormatic, so if Amazon wants to have sensor reading equipment in any brick and mortar stores so that they don't need checkouts, they kind of still need Broadcom. So I'm just going to say that was somebody trying to think up a good reason why Broadcom was down on the day. And frankly, I didn't think they did a particularly good job of it. We had earnings today from Lululemon after the close, which was a beat, both top and bottom line, although their brick and mortar revenues were down 28%. That was well balanced with a better than 80% gain in online sales. However, The market doesn't like it particularly. The stock had closed 317.09, up 93 cents, and right now is trading 311.50, and that's down 588. Also, PVH, which is the apparel conglomerate, for lack of a better way of putting it, and used to be called Phillips Van Heusen, hence the PVH. And they beat top and bottom estimates. They weren't great numbers, but they did beat estimates. The stock had closed at 100.12, and that was up 216. And as soon as those numbers came out, the stock shot up to 104.5, and the last I have here is 103.75, up 579 or 5.9%. They had a loss in the fourth quarter, but as I said, they're looking for $5 a share in earnings for the current year. So that involves some growth. And frankly, with the S&P at 40 times earnings, that would put PVH in the range of 20 times earnings or 21 times earnings, which makes it look somewhat cheap. It isn't, but it does look that way when you compare it. And the bank that everyone loves to hate, including me, Wells Fargo, managed a 95-cent gain today, which was 2.5%, 39.39. And the only bit of news on Wells Fargo is they don't have a loss from Archegos. So, that's really kind of clutching at straws when the best thing you can say is, gee, we didn't get hurt. So, but that's just my own personal bent and jaundiced view of Wells Fargo, those thieving, stealing bastards. Anyway, beyond that, the Russell bounced back today and closed up 37.11, which was 1.72. This has been all over the place. Last night, it was down 78. It was down 62.80, or just over 2.8%. So today it made back a nice piece of that. The transports, which are what were down 78.38 yesterday, were up 199 today. I'm not really sure where that comes from, but I will tell you that FedEx looks like it's got an oversold bounce coming in it. And the oil, which started the day up and was up overnight last night before the open today, actually finished at 60.55. It's the chart that I have on the screen here. So it closed 60.55, down $1.01. And tonight it's down another 24 cents. The low on the day today was 59.94. So I'm actually hoping and expecting that it's going to break that the low from today. While it seems to be supported here, it also has the look of something that has had a blow off to the upside, a lower high, and another break to the downside. This was a horrendous day, down $4.50, and has really been unable to crack back up through the area of that breakdown, which was 63.38. Today's high was 62.27. Yesterday's high was a little lower than that, 61.77. This, to me, has the look of a bear flag, and if we can break yesterday's and the day before's low, which is not that far, today was 59.94. Yesterday was 59.41. Then we would be setting up to test the 58.5. 58 area to the downside, and we are in options calls on the inverse 3 times leveraged ETF. So if right now, if oil is down a quarter or 0.41, that means that SCO is actually up 1.2% or thereabout. So that's the play that we have there. The gold broke yet again today. I just cannot for my life figure out why the gold cannot get out of its own way. It's slightly lower tonight, nothing overwhelming. And the dollar has been up, but this rolling to the downside is pretty ominous. It concerns me. We are now in the area to test the low from the beginning of this month at 1673. Today's low was 1676 and a half, and as I said, we're down about $1.80 tonight. So very early and very quiet. But I also do not like seeing a big volume day on a day where it comes down and closes near the low, followed by another lower low. The low close here is 1678. So a close under 1678 is going to look really ugly. Let me just expand this out so you can see what I'm talking about trend-wise. We've had several lower lows. This was an exact double top those 2 days. We broke again, rallied up to the break, and then sold off, got oversold with something like 10 out of 12 down days, had a little rally that could not penetrate to the upside, and now we're rolling again. This is a really difficult one to figure because, pretty much we're right on or getting very close at 1657 to the 100-week moving average. And that should be support, but, the 50-week should have been support. And here we are right through it like a knife through butter. Bitcoin, again, moving higher, looking really strong. I think it's down a little tonight. Let me see. Yeah, it's down 400 tonight. Volume is kind of light, only 48 contracts traded so far. Those are 48 contracts of 5. And let's go back to the daily here. And, it's a pretty extensive run, but I'm going to give you a closer look. The closing high that I mentioned last night, 58,975. Today's new closing high, 59,705. So we're well within range of both this failure to make a new high up at 60,295 and the actual high of 61,255. We're certainly within striking distance on both of those. All right, everyone. Have a good evening. I'll be back first thing in the morning, and tomorrow's the last day of the quarter, so there may be some rebalancing and some window dressing. Nobody's going to want to show the ones that are down in their portfolio, and everyone's going to want to show the ones that are up. Have a good evening. I'll be back in the morning.